You can make money in mobile homes. I know because I've made lots of money in mobile homes. It's not my go-to, but there's going to be opportunities when you invest in real estate that present themselves that you're going to have to either say yes to or say no to. And you need to be able to have the ammunition, the intelligence, the information in order to make that decision, okay? So this video, we're going to go through every reason why mobile homes are good decisions or whether they're a bad decision for you. Before we get into this next video, make sure that you're aware that we have a contest where you can enter to win up to $20,000. All you got to do is go to the TroyKearnsChannel.com, enter to win, and make sure you text the number below. So first of all, the reason that we're shining a light on mobile homes is not many people actually talk about making money in mobile homes. It's kind of like the stepchild of real estate. You've got commercial properties, which is very like sexy. You're graduating into that. It's kind of like, hey, once I'm in commercial, I've got commercial financing. You've got residential where you can like do some cool stuff, show off high-end residential, but mobile homes is not sexy, right? It's really, or is it? Is it sexy, right? Or can you make it sexy? Well, my answer is yes and no. First of all, I'm gonna talk to you about a story real quick about where I bought a mobile home in the middle of the pandemic. So just like less than a year ago, I bought a mobile home and everybody else said no to this lady, and I bought it because I said, there's no way in hell that I can lose money on this deal, okay? We'll put a link to it. It's on Rainier Avenue, but I bought that property for $18,000, or I think actually $15,000. I bought it for $15,000 in the middle of the pandemic. And I'll tell you what, it was a total gamble because one of the things I'm going to get into about mobile homes is you have to make sure when you're investing in mobile homes, you know whether they can be designated as a single family residence, which means they're financeable, or whether they can't be. And this particular one, because of the age of the mobile home, could not be designated as a financeable mobile home. I'll share what I did later in the video and how I came out of that deal smelling like a rose, but let's get into the details about why mobile homes are a good investment for you, or are they? So there's two types of investments when you're looking at mobile homes. You're either gonna buy a mobile home, just like and flip it or rent it or do whatever, or you're gonna buy the whole damn park. In this particular video, we're gonna talk about both, but most specifically about just singular mobile homes as an investment for you. If you're in parts of the country like the Southeast, like Mississippi, like other rural areas, mobile homes are very, very popular. They are more popular than stick built, than concrete built, because they are the cheapest way to put a house on a piece of property without doing any work to the property, right? You can literally go plop the piece of property right there. You've got a house, you get a well out there, you get a septic system, you get your power hooked up. All your things are built all the way out inside the structure of the mobile home. That's a benefit, right? You can literally go find a piece of land, buy a used or new mobile home, throw it on that piece of land, and then sell it just like that. You don't have to build anything. All you got to do is get utilities in and plop that thing out. I want to go through all of the pros before I start getting way into the weeds about mobile homes, okay? Let's go through all of the pros that we've outlined in this video. It's the lowest cost, the lowest barrier to entry to investing in real estate. That's pro number one. Just like most real estate, but especially mobile homes, the tenants are going to be responsible for any sort of expenses that you have. People in mobile homes tend to stay longer. It's kind of a lifestyle. So you're gonna have less turnover than you would be in like a fourplex, than you would be in like an apartment building. And it's gonna be more like a traditional home than it is going to be like an investment where you're gonna have a high turn rate. So the turn rate on mobile homes is actually low. People tend to stay for a long time. Believe it or not, there's a high demand because of the low barrier to entry, because of the massive amount of zoning changes that cities are not wanting to have these mobile homes. There's less of a supply of them right now. But I'll tell you what, mobile homes are getting better. I would tell you a pro from buying like a newer mobile home is that you're gonna super be able to pick that up as a depreciation thing, and it's brand new manufactured. Like the technology on mobile homes, they manufacture the whole thing in a manufacturing facility, like in the inside, and everything is put together and it's shipped. It can be put together on site. You can buy it already shipped together. You see those oversized loads going down the freeway with 2 sections of the house that they piece it together. But they're getting so good at building mobile homes, we may find that mobile homes become the new house of the future because of the technological upgrades in manufacturing, that they're actually building these mobile homes better and sturdier than they are building traditional houses that are exposed to the elements when they're constructed. Mobile homes are built in factories. They're not exposed to the elements. And so as that technology gets better, more people are looking at mobile homes as a cost-efficient way to live and actually possibly get a better property than a traditional stick-built house. One last pro to mention that I mentioned before is that you can literally buy a mobile home and put it anywhere. You don't need to pay for the cost of a foundation generally. You don't need to grade it. You don't need to build it out. You don't need to get a framer. You don't need to wire the walls. All that stuff is done. You got to plug it in to the utilities. You got to plug it into the electrical, plug it into the septic, or to the main if you got a sewer main, and you got to plug it into the water. That's it, okay? You're ready to go. You're ready to live. You're ready to sell it. You're ready to flip it. Whatever you want to do, all you gotta do is plug it in, and if you're flipping it, clean it up. Another pro is it can be financeable. So that's a pro. You can finance these properties. A lot of them are in rural areas and they might qualify for USDA financing. That's 0% down. So that's another pro. Now, let's get into the negatives about mobile homes. Well, number one we're going to talk about is they are a negative connotation. People, when they think about mobile homes, they think about chickens, cars in the yard, busted down properties, people not caring about it, tornadoes tearing apart properties, everything that you can think about, it has a negative connotation. Just right out of my mouth, when I hear the word mobile home, I think of a lower class of investment. So it's got a negative connotation. That's a negative. Another negative on a mobile home is if you don't have the proper year. I believe it's 1976. In my state here in Nevada, they will let you apply to make it a single family house as long as certain criteria is met, right? And that's going to change county to county, state to state, city to city. So you need to check with your city and see what the year, with the make, the model, whatever that is going to allow you to convert it into real property. Once you are able to convert it into real property, so that's a negative, because if you can't convert it into real property, it's a total negative because you won't be able to finance it, which means your buyer pool is limited for mobile homes because of the negative connotation, because of the limited number of financing, okay? Well, let's talk about tenants. Your tenant pool is also limited because not everybody wants to live in a mobile home, okay? So also, if you're talking about in terms of negatives with trailer parks, the value of the properties is going to go down every year, even though the value of the property might go up. So what do I mean by that? Like, mobile homes deteriorate. Every day you own a mobile home, it's going down in value, right? Whereas the park itself, if you own a mobile home park, because you've increased the revenue, the park might be going up in value, but your depreciating asset is the mobile home on that park, okay? So it goes down in value specifically in terms of an asset class, like it's gonna have more repairs, it's gonna have the technology, it's gonna base it, you can't get in the walls that much, you know what I mean? You're limited in terms of what you can do, you're limited in terms of additions that you can do, you can't, put 2 mobile homes together, it just doesn't look right. So it's got limited body styles, limited home designs, limited manufacturing, and limited city ordinances of where you can actually put these things. So it's got a negative connotation, it's got negative financing possibilities, so why the heck do you want to invest in mobile homes? I do not own any mobile homes that I own as long-term investments, right? But I would. So the house I was beginning to tell you about that I bought in the pandemic, I bought it as the mindset of, man, if I got to sit on this thing as a rental forever, am I okay with that, right? So the property that I bought had a mobile home that was built in 1969. It could not be rezoned into real property. So that meant that I could not finance it. Well, I had a trick up my sleeve. With this particular mobile home, there was an additional dwelling unit that was about 400 square feet. And prior to me buying it, I checked with the county and I said, can this dwelling unit, since it's been here forever, can that be converted into real property? They're like, yeah, all we need to make sure it has is an air conditioning and a 110 outlet, okay? And then you're good. Although the mobile home itself was not financeable, because I was able to get this other structure on the property financed, I had basically made 2 dwelling units. So I refixed the mobile home, put it all back together nicely, and then I converted the other, I'll call it a casita / shed, into a studio 1-bedroom apartment, and then it was financeable, which means I was able to put that thing back together. I paid 15 grand for it. I put about $25,000 into it, and I sold it for like 120,000 bucks, right? So it was a great investment. In fact, if I think I sold it right now, it'd probably be worth about 180,000, just because that market has changed so much. So that person also got a great buy because they bought it during the pandemic. I bought it during the pandemic. I was a little bit nervous about buying something during the pandemic. And the guys that she had originally got the bid for 18, she says, well, they're gonna buy it for 18. I said, well, I'm at 15. And she says, well, let me see if they go back. They go back, they said, no, we're not interested at all now because of the pandemic. I said, I'll still buy it at 15. We bought it, it worked out. Sometimes no risk, no reward. But let's talk about why you should invest in them. First of all, right now, as we're talking, I am looking for mobile homes to flip in Mississippi, and I'll tell you why. When you have no supply of inventory, everything is going to sell, right? So we have no supply right now. So right now is a great time, as we're talking about this date right now, is a great time if your market does not have any inventory for you to search for mobile homes to flip that you can convert into real property. So it's a great time because there's not much inventory, so people are willing to buy something that they weren't willing to buy before because they want a house and they're running out of stuff to do. So currently we are looking for stuff to buy right now. I think it's a great investment. The other thing is, if you have a great piece of property, right, and you realize that, man, it's only gonna be worth $300,000 if I put a house on here, but it's gonna cost me $300,000 to build it. But you can go buy a manufactured home, a mobile home, right? Same type of thing, a manufactured mobile home, and you can buy that, put that there, now it's financeable, and then you can flip it. So it's a good way to make money, especially if you buy used ones, fix them up, relocate them. You're gonna have to do your cost of transportation, plus your cost of improvement, plus your cost of land. That's gonna be your sales price. So what I do happen to love investing in, which I do not own any, but they're great investments, is mobile home parks, okay? What is a mobile home park? A mobile home park is a community of mobile homes where every tenant in the property pays a rent for their piece of dirt or concrete or what have you, their space, right? So generally speaking, they will own the mobile home, the manufactured home, whatever, outright, or they'll have it financed through you or through someone else, and they'll rent the space from you for a little bit of money, right? So make sure that if you're looking at mobile homes that you see, where's the upside? Can you increase the NOI? Because the way that a mobile home park is valued is based on what the NOI, the net operating income, is versus what the actual value of those trailers are. And the more spaces that you can make and the more spaces that you can increase, the more value of that property you can make it go up, okay? So that's something that you need to understand when you're investing in mobile home parks. Also, if they're run poorly, you could definitely go in there, clean things up, and make a lot of money that way. All right, so if you like that video, make sure that you comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. If you didn't like the video, comment below, tell us what you didn't like about it. We like that too. And if you haven't had a chance, go look at mobile homes in your community, see what the demand is, check it out. It's a great way to get started investing. It's a low barrier to entry, but make sure that you have plenty of exit strategies, and make sure you're not the only mobile home for sale in that community, that you study days on market and that you look exactly what you're buying. You don't buy a turd that you got to own for a year. And if you do got to buy a turd, you actually have a renter who wants to rent that turd.